Hi guys, good evening. So in the last session, we had seen about transparent firewall lab and we were going with the IPsec site-to-site VPN. So the theoretical part we had seen and also we were going with the lab deployment. Okay, so let me go to the part. So today we'll complete this part and also we'll go with the flex configuration. So we'll use the flex configuration in FTD to configure area. Let's go and start our lab. PNG, so let me power on the FNC. Now let's bring up our event flows. We were going with the IPsec site-to-site VPN. And let's start all the nodes. Now see, yesterday what we had configured? We have configured your site 1 with the IP addresses. Site 1 client was configured, internet was configured, site 2 IP addresses were configured, and the site 2 client was also configured. Okay. And yesterday we had also integrated your site 1 and site 2 in the FMC. Okay. So once we start the lab, once our lab is up and running, what we will test? We will test the communication. Okay. We will test the communication from where to where. First of all, we will test the communication from your site 1 client to site 1, that is FTD, from site 2 client to the FTD. These two communications we will test. And once this is done, then we will test the communication from site 1 to site 2. That means public to public communication should be there. Once these three communications are okay, then what we will be doing is we'll go and we'll start VPN setup. Okay. Now, if you see, I want that my site 1 should be publicly be able to communicate with the site 2. So on the site 1 FTD, I'll have to go and configure a default route towards the ISP. Same thing I have to do here on the site 2 FTD also, I have to configure a default route towards the ISP. Okay, so this route will facilitate communication from site 1 to site 2. That means public to public communication will be done. Once this is done, next thing we can do is we can go and configure the VPN tunnel. Okay. So this is what we'll be doing. Right now, what we have to do is we have to go and configure routing. We'll configure a default route on site 1 FTD, default route on site 2 FTD. Okay. And then after, we will configure IPsec. Let's verify whether FMC is up or not. FMC is almost up. Let's access the FMC. Meanwhile, let's check the site 1 FTD is up. Then site 2 FTD also up. Okay, so on site 1 and site 2, we can verify the IP addresses. Admin 0126 to interface IP with so we can verify here that the IP address 10.1.10 is on the V0 by 0, 100.1.1.10 on the V0 by 1. This side is fine. Then on the side 2, IP to interface IP 3. So here on the side 2, I can verify that V0 by 0 is configured with 10 to 10. V0 by 1 is configured with 200 on 110. This is also fine. Now that we take access of site 1 client. Then let's take access of site 2 client and internet. And I'll bring up the interfaces. So let me check. So IP, no IP. Here I configure the IP 10.1.1 and it is 10.1.10. This is done. If I check again, show IP, so I can see that IP has been configured. And if I test communication with the FTD 10.1.10, so I have the communication. All right. Same thing on the site 2 client. Here I have to configure the IP address. And we will be configure 10. Correct. Yes. Now let me test communication with the FTD. So I'll say ping and so here also I have the communication. So far what I have tested, I have tested that I have communication from site 1 to FTD, site 2 client to FTD. Now I will try to test the communication from site 1 to site 2. Okay. So right now I haven't given any route on the site 1 and site 2. So I should not have this communication. Okay. So let me just clear all the drawings. Let me just. So if I say ping 200 on 110, so I will not have any communication. You can success rate is 0%. Okay. So I'm not able to communicate. Why? I'm not able to communicate because I don't have a route. It says no route to host. Okay, so now we will configure one static route, I mean one default route on FTD1 and one default route on FTD2. So let's log in here. Let's go to the devices, device management. First of all, let's configure in the site one. So I'll go to routing. Okay, in the routing, you can see I have OSPF option, I have RIP option, I have BGP option, I have multicast routing option, static route option, but there is no EIGRP option. Okay, so EIGRP we can configure using the FlexConfig. Here we have the option, right? So now let's go and configure the static route. Okay, so click on add route, IPv4, and my route will go through the outside interface. Okay, and what is my destination network? So I'm saying my destination is any destination, any IPv4. So who will be my gateway? For any destination, this ISP is my gateway, that is 100.1.1.1. Okay, so I'll say that I want gateway IP is 100.1.1.1. So IP here is 100.1.1.1. So IP configured right here on the ISP. Okay, no IP is configured here. If I let me go here and add my gateway, which is site1 gateway. Okay, and this is my default route done. Okay, for site1 default routing is done, and you can verify right now. If I say roll out, so I don't have any default route right now. Okay, so I'll deploy this, save it, and I'll say deploy. And that FTD site1 I will deploy. Now this deployment is going on. Meanwhile, this deployment is going on. Let's configure them. Okay. So if I check here, I have 100.1.1 on G0 by 0 and 200.1.1 on G0 by 1. So activation download. The page G0 by 0 and clear address. 100.1.1.1 0. That no shutdown. That is G0 by 1. IP address will be 200.1.1. No shutdown. Right. Now, once this default route will be configured, and right now from site1, I can verify my connectivity to the ISP also, 100.1.1.1. So you can see I have the communication with the ISP. But if I try right now communicating with the 200.1.1.10, so I will not be able to. Okay, but my traffic is reaching there. Okay, my traffic is reaching. See on the site 2, let me try to debug. If I say debug IP IPMP place. So now let me try to you can see here that ACO request received from 100.1.10. Okay, so the request is coming to the site 2, but reply will not be sent. Why? Because site 2 does not have a route. Okay. Now we'll go and configure one default route on the site. Device management. Go to the site 2. Go to routing. And also we can verify here on site 1 that earlier there was no default route. Now if I check to use the route, so I can see that there is S star. That means this is static default route. Okay. And now we are configuring the same thing for the site 2. Add a route to the outside interface for any network. Okay. And this time gateway will be site 2 gateway. Just 200.1.1. So this will be 200.1.1. Save it. Select it. Site 2 gateway. Okay. Save it. Deploy. Directory site 2. Deploy. Now the deployment is going on. Once this deployment will complete, then we should have public to public connectivity from site 1 to site 2. The public IPs we should be able to connect once both the sites are having default roles. Okay. So let's read for it. So once this deployment is done, then we can go to the site 2 and we can say to route, and we can verify that here also we have a default route. So now I can ping from site 1 to site 2. Okay. So if I say ping 200.1.10, so you can see my success rate is 100%. Okay. But right now what is happening? That I will not be able to ping from my site 1 client to site 2 client. So if I try to ping from 10.1.1 to 10.2.2, I'll not be able to ping. Okay, let me try. So I'll say ping 10.1.1. Sorry, 10.2.2. So see, timeout, not able to ping. So what I'll do is I'm going to go and configure here a tunnel. Okay. So let's configure it. Go to the devices VPN and in the VPN site to site. Click on add VPN, add PD. Let's make it my VPN. We will use I21. Then select the nodes. Node A is devices, site 1. Which interface tunnel will be set up? Outside interface, this is the outside interface IP and the protected network. So which network I'm protecting? So I have my inside network 10.1.1. This is the network I'm protecting. Okay. Click here, click one of the node B, which is my site B. So I'll say device, FPD site 2, outside interface. Here my protected network is 10.2.2. So site 2 protected network 10.2.2.0. This is the network I'm protecting on site 2. So done. Then after select the IP parameters. So see here, right now we are using evaluation license, right? So we cannot go with the higher encryption algorithms like AES and all. We have to go with the DES only. Okay. So right now, let's go with the DES algorithm. Reshared key authentication type is what? Reshared key. So right now it is saying automatic key. If you want to give a manual key, you can give also. I can say switch to this key. Okay. Then after IP set, so in the IP set also we cannot use higher encryptions because we are using evaluation license. Otherwise, you could just go and add it here and you can decide which algorithm you want to use. Okay. Or else if you do not find your pattern here, you can create a custom pattern also. Like you can give a name. Now which encryption algorithm you want to use, which hashing algorithm you want to use from here that you can select. Okay. So right now we will go with the dash and SHA only. Once this is done, then you can simply click on save. This is your VPN configured site to site. Okay. Click on deploy. We will deploy on both the sites. Deploy. Wait for the deployment. And now what I'll do is I'll go here and I'll capture the outside interface. 0 by 1. So once we will establish, initiate the tunnel setup, then we will see the traffic. Okay, the IP version 1 main mode and quick mode messages we are going to see. Almost done. Here's a routers you have to give so many commands, okay? And actually you don't have to give commands. Now see here, if I check to answer jam, see, So right now there are no I question one message, no I question two message. So to IP check message. So right now there is no IP check message as well. Okay. Now this is and here is our plan. Let's go and try to connect. One, there's actually one side one actually distribution finding. Here we don't have this fine. Two, 12, 19, sorry, that is the IP set this year. Two, 11, the IP set this year, the going from 10, 1, 1, 0, plus 1, 0, 3, 10, 2, 0, plus 1, 0, 1. So I think V1 enable interface outside IPv1 policy authentication and that area of the application. So I think this is 10.1.1 and that is this is we should be there. There is the configuration is actually okay. Let me go once with the automatic key. Might be due to license verification. Manual key is not supported. Could be possible. So right now I'm going with the automatic. Once I do both are done, that is this thing. Then we will start seeing the public communication. Let me check on that. In 101. Here I'm getting some I think even if enabled on the outside interface policies, limited authentication method is finished here. Parallel process is done. So in the tunnel grid, I can say this is also fine. Then after running, I think inspect. So if you say I do one transform set ESP that's ESP chart, no, this is also fine. Running config. So map. Right now, site connection. And that one. So we can configuration on site. Running config. Pixel dash file. No, so everything is okay. Configuration is all okay. Configuration wise, we are not having problem. Slide 15, 200 million. Slide 15, I see 100 of 100. Problem with this three is only. And in place of these two sites, I will use router side issue. Okay, no, no, I think check policy. What is the policy we have here for these two devices? This is the problem. You see, check. Of course, to create the policy. By default, block all traffic policy is there, right? So inside to outside communication block. Add a loop from inside to outside. Allow. Okay. On any source to any destination. Any IP port will be used. Now we can report the backwards to back. VPN configuration wasn't about only firewall rule. I was expecting like what is allowed. Where three is almost connected, side to three. Alright. See here. What that is. Then actually one will have to deploy. Between running configuration and information on device. Okay, the problem was only a policy that we didn't see. from deploy for the devices. Going on. This will be done. Done. Site 1 is deployed. Now it's deploying site 2. Site 2 will fail again. One more time we have to deploy. Communication is going on. If it gets deployed, that's good. Meanwhile, I can test let me deploy one more time. Let me access site 1 page. And then I have it. Where this is happening. Let me do one configure the page. Okay, so site 2 deployment is also done. Thank you. Can management. And now both the deployments are done. So what I'll do is I'll go and capture in this video by one. To deploy. Use the capture now. So first of all, I'll test public communication. Very yeah. I have the communication. And from site 1 line to here I have communication. Okay. Here also I have the communication. Now let me okay. So I can see here that my VPN tunnel setup is done. This is these are the 6 messages from main node and 3 messages from the build node. Okay, and my entire traffic is what now? It's encrypted. So it's passing under the ESP. Okay, and here you can see, you can verify this. So, 1. That's it. So you can see that my state is what? The state of the connection is active, and who is my peer? 200.1.1.10. Okay. Then I can verify. So let's go. And let's say this is my uh, IPsec information here. Okay, so we can see inbound ESP, outbound ESP, SS. So these are telling what? That our phase 1 and phase 2 channels are up. Okay. Now, if I want, I can communicate securely from here to the other side. Okay. This entire communication you will see here under the ESP packets. Okay. The ESP packets are what? My this communication. Okay. This is clear. How you will set up the VPN connection. So earlier our contribution was all right. We just forgot to create a allow rule in the policy. Is it clear? It's clear, right? Yeah, you have to try it once. Okay, just make sure what you have to do, what are the steps. The first step is that you have to go and make public to public connectivity. That means one default route on FTD1, one default route on FTD2 towards the internet. Okay. Second thing, you have to make sure that there should be a policy to allow inside to outside traffic. Okay. And the third configuration is your VPN. That's it. Okay, these three things you have to try. All right. Now, one last thing remaining is about the FlexConfig. So using which we can configure EAGRP in the FTD. Okay. So right now, let's say for example, right now, if I try to ping from this site 1 client to the internet, will I be able to ping or not? From site 1, I mean from site 1 client to the internet, will I be able to ping or not? What do you think? Will I be able to ping? See here. From site 1 client, if I will try to ping, so source will be my site 1 IP, destination will be what? This 100.1.1. So my traffic will come from here to here. But does the internet has a route for this? Does the internet have a route for this internet network? Yes or no? No. So that means the response will not come. Correct? So right now what I want to show you is how you configure EIGRP in the FTD. Okay. So right now we will consider one side is FTD and one side this is router. Okay. And between these two devices, I'll configure EIGRP. Okay. So that means when I will configure EIGRP on the FTD, first of all on the router, so what will be my commands? Router, EIGRP, let's say 10, no auto summary. Then I'll say network, and network I'll advertise in 100.1.1.0. Okay, this is only the thing I'm going to advertise in the router. On the FTD side, kind of our configuration will be router EIGRP 10, no auto summary. Then one network I will advertise 10.1.1.0 and another network I will advertise 100.1.1.0. Now tell me if I will make these two configuration, this router and this FTD will become neighbors or not? They will become neighbors. Correct? Yes. Once they will become neighbor, so FTD will share the 10.1.1.0 network with the router. Correct? So router will become neighbor with the FPD and routes will be exchanged. So router will also be able to communicate with the client, correct? This is all the configuration we have to do. Okay. So let me go on the Ethernet router right now and let me do this advertisement. So here I have they are offers on okay. And then one okay. So I no. So right now you can see I don't have any API routes, correct? Now let's go and to the FTD and let me show you how to configure the dynamic route. Okay. So two networks I will advertise in the FTD. One is 10.110 and second one is this network 100.110. So on the site one, I'm doing this thing. So from site one, I will remove the default route. That will not create any sort of conflict. Okay, so now I don't have any routing. See, first thing to configure FlexConfig, what we have to do, we have to go to the object and object management. Here we have to go to the, if we scroll down, we have FlexConfig, okay, and here we have the text objects. So in the text object, you can see I have one object created with the name EIGRP autonomous system. So right now the autonomous system here set is what? AS1. So I'll add it and I'll change this value from 1 to 10 because this is the AS number I'm using right now. Okay, this is done. So one is autonomous system number we will require. Another thing we are going to require is what? About EIGRP networks. So EIGRP network is not here right now. Okay. And if you want to configure router ID, you can configure router ID also. Let's say site one router ID. I want to configure something like a 1.1.1. Okay. Whatever the router ID you want to configure, that we can configure here. Okay. Then we have to configure EIGRP networks. Okay. So I'll say add text object and I'll say EIGRP networks. Change it to multiple because there will be multiple values. Two networks I will be advertising. And here, the first network I will advertise is 10.1.1.0, 255.255.255.0. Another one I will advertise is, I will advertise 100.1.1.0, 255.255.255.0. Save it. Okay, so EIGRP networks I have added, router ID is done, and AS number is done. Then next, what you have to do, just go to here, FlexConfig object, and here you will see that we have something called as EIGRP configure. Okay, now I will clone this. This is the system defined. Okay, this one is what? System defined object. So I'll clone this object. Okay, and I'll name it my EIGRP configure. Here I can see that EIGRP AS it is using. So AS number, the object automatically it is taking, which is 10. EIGRP, another thing it is using is router ID, which is 1.1.1.1, what we have configured. Now this EIGRP networks, this is the variable that we need to configure here. So I'll select this variable, I'll click on insert, okay, insert policy object and text object. And from here, I will select the EIGRP networks that I have configured, which is having my both the networks. So I'll select it, add it, variable name, same name I will give, EIGRP networks. Click on save. Done. So verify here that okay, these are there. This is also there. Then just save it. Once done, go to the device, go to the FlexConfig, okay, new policy, and to which FTD it will apply. So I'll say this is for EIGRP configuration, and this is for FTD1 only. Save it. So this is the my EIGRP configure. I'll select it. I'll say bring it this side selected. Then save this configuration. Okay, if you want to preview, you can preview the configuration also, that how the configuration will look like on the FTD1. You can see router ID, AS router EIGRP 10, and these are the networks. Okay, and router IDs one. So everything looks good. Just deploy this configuration. Once this configuration will be deployed, then we must see in the router that the neighborship should come up. And if the neighborship will come up, that means our EIGRP configuration is successful using the FlexConfig. So your FTD doesn't have a native support for EIGRP. Using the FlexConfig, we can configure. You see here, EIGRP neighborship came up. So that means our EIGRP configuration in the FTD is successful. And since EIGRP neighborship come up, if I check show IP route, I have a route for 10110, and if I try to pick, I say pick 10111, my communication also should be there. Okay, so this is some problem with the site one, like I mean this VPC only. Okay, but you can see here that my neighborship came up and my route is also there. Is it clear? So understood the FlexConfig? Okay. So guys, with this we are done. Okay, Monday is holiday. Okay, Monday there will be no session. And with this we are done with our FTD classes also. Now next we will start with the NGIPs. Okay, that we will start on 2020. Yeah. 23rd. Yeah, 23rd, same time. We will start with the NGIPs. Okay. All right, guys. That's it. You guys